In our last session, the group arrived in the astral plane after the strange incident with the portal that Balasa inflicted on himself in their pursuit of the investigation. There they confronted a creature known as a hellhound alpha of some kind that spoke with a jovial accent and called itself Zargal, the Sin Sniffer. It seemed to think of Verity and Hayes as inspectors whom it had not seen for a time, and spoke candidly of the place known as Camp Peace, where apparently some sort of rehabilitation effort was being made. The group was aware that apparently there were directors here in addition to the experiments, and Verity and Hayes decided not to push too far when it started becoming suspicious of their ignorance. It asked the rest of the group to put their weapons aside while it took Verity and Hayes to see the nearest director, known as Zoltan, also a dustman, and apparently one of the contributors to the book by Navarre Strathford. Seeing that the experiment was still in fact was disconcerting to the group, Verity and Hayes in particular find themselves wondering all sorts of things about the harmonium. Meanwhile, with Rose conversing with Sile, it seems that the jump was successful. Sile promised he would take care of things this side, and that somebody had to be watching here in case a portal reformed or such, guarding the exit route, so to speak. Rosa decides to take a short rest in Sile's tent before heading off on her own using the key. She does, however, approach some of the other prospectors and scavengers, trying to make some kind of a tentative peace for now, so that she might not have to worry about them backstabbing her later or taking advantage of the situation. Fira, Balasa, Alara, and Arya find themselves in a strange situation, with Verity and Hayes taken after Sargal. None of them decide to stay behind and find out what the Fiend has in store for them with Camp Peace, much less do they surrender or drop their weapons. They decide to head in the opposite direction to find out what they can. There's plenty of discussion about the nature of the experiment itself, as Verity Hayes speak to Zoltan, finding out that apparently things have changed since Governor Navarre left. It seems that Tomoska and Harvest have taken the experiment into their own hands. Zoltan does admit a mistake on his part in letting the portal keys slip out into Sigil, apparently in an attempt to try and get an external party in to help deal with the situation. The previous primes were not particularly helpful, but perhaps Verity and Hayes might manage to speak some sense or change the minds of the directors. The group collectively decides to put down Sargal before it runs off to warn to the directors, seeing that it obeys the majority of command here, and Zoltan is strictly in a minority in terms of what he thinks. After Sargal is knocked out, it seems the group has a bit of difficulty coming to terms with the terrain around them. It is not merely an island in the astral plane itself, but seemingly a presence dwells here, strong enough to interfere with Alara's attempts to manipulate thought and motion. With this in mind, the group cautiously decides on their next course of action. And here we continue for today.
So Hayes' power is affected as well, right?
Hayes finds his power is working for now, but he's not solely contributing to it. There's something else as well that might be listening in.
Yes, I had to make some like wisdom saves.
That's troubling.
So I still have a javelin.
Only shadows, right? Radiant? Not much. interference?
You haven't tested Radiant yet.
Well, I smited.
That one didn't seem to have a problem.
Okay. All right. So we said we want to continue with the tour per se.
Zoltan looks at you. So, have you come to a decision then? I see you have subdued the messenger.
Alright, he will say, well, I think it's good that we have a look at all the atrocities that is committed here as an evidence to apprehend the directors.
Evidence is good and welcome, though I'm not sure how much of it will hold with Seagill's laws. Regardless, this way, if you please. Everyone, please stick by closely.
And we go.
Okay. Let
We
me
stick by closely, I suppose.
We stick.
Like
Rose
butter.
is gonna ask Zoltan, is it alright to leave the dog here?
Zoltan simply looks at you. And what would you have me do with it?
Hmm.
Toss it off into the astral plane?
Oh no, definitely not that. But well, yes, I guess if there's no one else here, that's alright. Never mind.
Feel free to take whatever precautionary measures you need.
Mm.
I'ma
Did
just
Elara or Balasa say anything about the weird terrain? Like it
Verity,
behaving?
Verity, you know the terrain is weird. You've been walking around, there's noises and everything, and the interference and
Yeah,
sound.
but like I haven't tried the whole imagining thing yet.
Oh,
So
Balasar ain't gonna tell you that he almost fucking drowned in. He ain't telling you shit.
Sand.
Ain't telling you shit.
okay then.
Alara would have
Yeah.
told you to, like, remember the dream.
Okay. Did Zoltan actually say we are on like a corpse of a god or something? I remember something about that.
Yes, you did.
We are indeed on like a corpse of the god, right?
Sultan says, you seem confused. You must know from your travels that the astral plane is full of large floating islands, some of them divine in nature. That is why the Athar like this place.
I see. Well,
Keep in mind that
the terrain. Yes.
the...
What did you say?
Give me a second. Remember that fleshly bodies for gods are just a matter of convenience. Divinity itself is other things. Tread carefully. Memories abound.
Oh, this is what I remember, is it?
Zoltan repeats it for your convenience.
Okay.
Dreams and names have powers here.
So what will happen to the unconscious one? And then he looks towards Sagao.
What do you mean?
Will the terrain do anything towards
I cannot
alone?
confidently answer on this.
Well, Verity will look towards Rose. Would you like to stay back to watch over it, or would you like to come with us?
Well, I guess staying back it won't be necessary, but are you saying that it's not safe to just leave it on the sand? Is the sand a problem?
Rosa, as a planeswalker, this sand is not, well, sand is just the crudest term you can give to it that approximates your understanding. It has the texture of sand, but when you pick it up and drop it, it just vanishes without ever seeming to diminish.
Well,
It makes odd little notes and sounds as well as you move around.
I would I would kind of like to put something under him, I suppose, but I don't think my cape is big enough or something like this.
Music.
Seeing this happen, Alara goes, I don't think it's something that we should be thinking about right now, given that we're a little bit on a time limit.
Finally, someone with half a brain.
Rose will sigh. Oh well, I suppose so. Well, let's get going then. The faster the
go.
better, right?
Yeah.
Arya says, I can stay if you want. I don't want to have to look at the ugly experiments. Ew.
Oh, you would stay with that one then? You're okay with that?
Is it going to be very scary to look at all those things? I'm
Yes.
not sure if scary is the right word.
Well, alright, I'll keep in contact with you. Let me know if anything happens.
What do you mean,
And-
anything?
It is the astral plane, Arya.
Zoltan turns to you. You should know that anything has a broad definition here.
Mm-hmm. So anyway,
Yeah,
Verity would
Verity,
just-
you say if anything happens.
mm-hmm.
Anything bad.
Yeah, so
Anything
maybe
bad? All right.
specifications would be nice.
Right, so Arya will stay with the unconscious Saga.
Fucking dog.
I'll give Arya a little nice brush before we leave. Sad.
Brushy, brushy.
brush.
Fira just watches you as you do that. Balasa, she's touching the strange horse again.
Just leave him and his overweight donkey alone.
Okay. Zoltan points. Let's go the left side first, if you will.
We go.
Okay. You can make out that that in this direction there's a giant slope. There's a giant slope upwards that Zoltan doesn't seem inclined to travel forward, seeming that there's plateaus and plateaus of raised heights. Instead, Zoltan goes by this way, and you notice that in this direction here, it's shrouded in shadow. Like the light source seems to come from the right. This area is all dark.
Okay. This next run that they say they take the negative energy and put it this side, something like that. That's what I understand, I think.
Zoltan says, no, it is because they removed the positive. So what's left is shadow in abundance.
But you can't have negative energy. I mean, the negative energy should be there before you remove the radiant, the light energy, the positive energy. So having it all in abundance means something else is feeding it, isn't it?
Is this really the time for theoretical discussion? I believe you have Navarre's book.
Yes. Never mind.
All right. And so are you following Zoltan?
We
Yeah.
stick.
Mm-hmm.
Stick.
We stick.
Okay. How are you all proceeding? Is there any SOP?
I'm behind
Zoltan
Verity.
himself sort of follows along without any seeming care of the
I think
situation. Okay.
Rose will be back.
Marching order.
Marching order behind Zoltan.
I am here behind Verity.
Okay, let's just be next
Like
to
this.
Zoltan.
Okay.
Here.
Okay, Alara behind Verity then.
How
I'll
about
be
Haze?
next.
Haze should
I'll-
be beside Verity, right?
Usually Haze takes the back, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to set a back or do you want to front this time, Haze?
Front.
Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
Hello,
Now
yes.
we do.
Hello.
Yeah. I just.
Okay.
Okay.
I had connection issue. Seems better now. I'm okay. Like, where is Bira? Where are the soft
Where are the
and
squishies?
Rose?
Fira will stick with Balasa.
Okay, so Fira's next to or behind?
And where's Rose?
Rose
Rosa.
is dangling off in the abyss somewhere.
Rosa.
The bug. She'll be the bug.
Back.
What?
Are you sure you want to be at the back?
Yeah.
She with the lowest movement speed.
Yeah.
Recommend
Oh.
you in the middle.
Or
Can I ride
recommend
Oh, ye
you
of
ride
little faith,
someone.
For she is of the highest range.
I mean, do you
No,
wanna?
but if something comes from behind and she needs to move.
Yeah, she can't. She's like really slow.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Do you want to ride on someone?
Recommend you be like with Balasar.
Fuck, I don't want the gnome with me.
I don't want to be with him too.
Yes.
Sort yourselves out.
Yeah, I'll be a little more in front, but
You can be in
Right
front of
now.
Haze
right now Haze is where? Haze is
at the back.
Yeah, I'll be in front
You can
of
be
Haze.
next to Alara.
Not that's too much to the front. I want to be a little in the back, so I'll be in front of Haze.
We're a train,
Like,
guys.
in the end, it's only like.
Why are we a train? Come on, guys.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be in front of Haze.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay, switch place, guys.
Flash.
Switch place.
Haze
Okay.
goes into Rosa. Why?
Rosa, go to the front. Go to the front, Rosa.
All right. You walk along in relative silence, feet crunching on the sand, if it is. There are sharp depressions down now as you start recognizing what appears to be the appendages of the corpse itself. It was truly massive in life, divinity. Zoltan navigates by creating stairs where he needs to, never seeming to rush. And as you all enter this shadowy region, as soon as you step into the shadow, an ominous chill circulates around you, and the whisperings of the astral streams and winds seem to take on a life of their own. Verity, do you think this could be like remnant memories of a dead god or so?
Oh,
The
okay.
shadows thicken and dance in strange ways. Haze, you can recognize these shadows as moving unnaturally.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Zoltan continues on, and here he stops for a moment. One of Navarre's theories was osmosis. The idea that a soul could attune itself if separated from other elements and placed in an environment that suited the needs of the experimenter. This zone itself is shrouded in shadow. You may sense it is desecrated. Some parts will
Verity
be
nods.
completely dark.
This one
Luis?
senses a disturbance in the shadows here.
You are not wrong.
Is this a result of the souls?
It is a result of a combination of things. The dreams of dead gods, the memories, the seeping essence of the experiments, corruption, and to some extent, the subjects themselves.
Haze just stares into the shadows and nods, like, oh, okay.
Were we able to
And then-
see any experiments?
You see things that look like this. Every now and then, the shadow sort of detaches itself, like a sort of shimmies along the ground in which you are, and reaches out with appendages, but still remaining remaining one-dimensional.
Is
Are
it?
they close enough to touch?
They are quick, darting back and forth.
Ah, okay.
Haze, you could probably try and pursue them aggressively if you wanted to.
No, I don't think I'm gonna go chasing shadows. But if they like linger long, I'll reach out to sort of like touch them.
Okay. You do try to touch them when you get the opportunity, and there's a certain kindred spirit when you do so. Like they seem drawn towards Haze for reasons not quite known.
Can Alara
Is
see
it
this
total
happen?
darkness?
It's getting very dark.
Any sign of experiments, or is just darkness?
We are close now to one of the nearest ones.
Oh wow, the shadows are following Haze.
They're sort of drifting around Haze.
Huh.
Um,
Verity asks Haze. Were you able to communicate with them?
This one is uncertain. Can I make like is there a skill check to see whether they are hostile in nature or
this would be insight, I suppose.
sense intention?
Terrible.
Haze, they seem to be mildly curious in the manner of some kind of in some kind of inhabitant of this place. There seems to be no hostilities at the moment. Like, well, they are doing the equivalent of poking and prodding at yourself and your own shadow.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Do I think it is safe to try to communicate with them? Well, probably because they're just curious, right?
Well, you've dealt with worse things before. I mean, you're from the shadow plane, the shadow fell. So the world of Umbra itself is full of creatures that exist in the negative and should not be otherwise.
Yes. Okay. So in response to Verity's question, Hayes will say, "This one has noticed interference when attempting to use my abilities. Should I take the risk to use them here?"
Verity considers for a bit. I don't think it's wise to make them aggressive right now. Just make sure that they do not endanger the others.
This one will endeavor to do so. For the moment, they seem simply curious.
They seem so.
Okay, at this point, Zoltan stops again and taps his feet on the ground. The ground itself ripples slightly, like water disturbed, and something climbs out. It's a figure of some kind, vaguely humanoid in appearance, but shrouded in shadows, and its eyes are two blackened sockets. Here you can see is something gone awry. Separation can be done on its own through attunement, but sometimes the subject takes too easily to the shadows and is lost, never returned.
Well, Verity is silent. Not sure about you guys, but Verity is silent. Does it does it look like it's suffering, or is it just like staying still?
It's just sort of staying still, standing there motionless, but like the shadows shroud and wrap around it, flickering.
I asked Zoltan, can you command it?
I have never tried.
So if it were to be here, unless we provoke it, it's static. It doesn't do anything.
I am unsure, but I am a dustman. We have an accord with the dead. Undead.
Right.
Hayes
Belisar
will
is-
approach, I suppose,
Yeah.
if no one
Can I
else
do
is
a
doing
divine
anything.
sense?
Belisar is gonna try and touch
Yeah, you
the,
can.
the thing.
Can I?
I'll do a divine
First
I
things
sense.
see-
first. Divine sense is just action, right?
Yes.
Okay. So divine sense for a lot of things, is it?
Yeah. For like seeing what
Okay.
these things.
Give me the first thing. What's the first thing on the list?
Celestial in 16 within 16 feet.
Within 16 feet.
60.
That's
60.
the rest.
60 feet. Actually, the map is like much bigger than this. There are no celestials within 60 feet.
Yeah. It only works if he can see them. Like, it has to be within line of sight. So if it's like behind cover, he doesn't sense them.
It doesn't have to be line of sight though.
It
It
doesn't
just
have to be
that
line
you
of
know the location of any that is
But
not
it
behind
has
total
to-
cover.
Yeah. Like, behind total cover means like behind a table. Like,
I mean, I
literally.
always think
Now,
that
I
some
can
sort
be
of
more
goal
relaxed
is
with
like
this, I can be more relaxed
What?
with this.
Okay.
Okay, so no celestials in 60 feet. What's the next thing?
fiend.
The thing standing there registers as a fiend.
The dark anima thing.
Yes, and you can sense like presences of fiends around you everywhere.
Oh god. There's a beep on your radar.
Like, is it those shadows or
As in the figures, the shadows are undead.
okay? So those are undead. Fiends also okay. I don't see a lot of them, but this one in front of me is definitely fiend. But I also
Yes.
sense a lot of presence around.
As
Okay.
in like under.
Under.
Hmm.
Zoltan. I mean, I asked Zoltan. Where do you ask Zoltan? Madam, what's under where we stand right now? I sense a lot of fiends.
We are standing on the flesh of a dead god. As far as they have flesh, things come in and out as they might. It is not solid ground.
So the experiments are not conducted underground is
No,
over.
no, no. This ground is malleable. They simply go where they find themselves comfortable, I suppose. You too could go under if you wanted, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Maybe not.
Hearing that, I look
So-
at Belisar.
Belisar is not behind you. He's about to touch the shadow guy.
Well, wherever he is, I'm
But
looking.
anyway, yeah.
Okay,
That's all Vergil's gonna do.
anything else for what else can it detect?
Like the type of
Things like elemental
Okay,
and
so
Yeah. celestial
El-
fiend and undead, and know the type.
celestial fiend undead. Only celestial fiend and undead.
That's a divine sense, yeah.
Okay.
Celestial fiend or undead.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I get, right?
Okay. That's all you get.
Okay, all right. Next, for whoever is
Okay,
doing.
Haze is okay. Balasa is in front of Haze, so Balasa tries to touch it.
seeing Balasar approach, Hayes will not approach.
Okay. How do you try and touch it, Balasa?
Oh, I just wanna like give him a love tap on the shoulder. Like see if it responds.
Okay. You touch the creature.
Does
And,
my hand go through?
No, you do touch something fairly wispy or so. But you definitely make contact with something solid at least. Touching, however, it's incredibly cold to the touch, and something beyond that as well. Like you feel your heat draining away just from the contact. And its head turns to look at the part of the shoulder. Like, do you just tap it and let go, or do you just stick your hand there?
I would like put two taps, like two taps on the shoulder, and then leave my hand there on the second tap.
Okay, you tap. It feels incredibly cold to the touch, and as the thing turns its head, you can see like where you touch seems to be radiating white hot energy that's being absorbed into the thing. As in, okay, let me see. As in, you sense like your own warmth being drawn away. Do you wish to maintain contact?
I would like to radiate heat because I can do that, and I want to see how much of it he can suck.
Damn.
Show dominance. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The creature's mouth opens, but you don't get a noise so much as the idea of a noise. Like you have seen mimes, okay. No, I mean Verity. You've seen like street performance, like mimes. There are no mimes
Yeah.
in Turok Mao and all that. They wouldn't last.
Okay.
Anyway, you've seen mimes, try to make words and all that, and this creature seems to be doing the same thing. As Balassa's heat is drawn into itself, like it brings one hand around to like place on Balassa's wrists, and like the cold intensifies and starts to spread up your arm.
Oh God.
As in Balassa, it feels as if you've just jumped into a pool of icy water in like the dead of winter.
Oh God, that's terrible. All right. I
Does
will.
Balasar look like he is in pain?
He
Or
looks like he's
It,
playing.
it does not feel painful, but it feels like numbing.
Mm-hmm. All right. Two can play that game, sir.
Zoltan speaks. The experiment is called osmosis. It will take as much as it can from the surroundings.
Well, it's taking a lot of heat from me.
Fira says,
Maybe
Balassa,
you
is
should
this a
let
good
go."
idea?
She says that I let go of the shoulder. Is his hand still on my wrist when I let go?
Make an opposed athletics check.
All right.
Whoa.
Fight me, bitch. Shit.
Oh.
Oh.
Let me just
Wow.
check that. Did I roll the thing correctly?
You did.
Okay, I didn't roll 20, but it latches on, like again in that silent noise, wanting more of this warmth. It
I
seeks what it lacks, it appears.
I tell Zoltan, can you force it to stop?
All right.
Let me try. Zoltan steps in front of it where it's wrestling with Balassa and goes, "Peace be with you, spirit that was. Go on to the true death." The thing lets go of Balassar and then vanishes back down below.
I turn to Belisar and I say, be wary of where you put your hands.
Balassa, I need to make a constitution saving throw.
I was about to ask you, like, can I feel my hand? 25?
Like, your hand still feels icy, but well, at least you're moving your digits around and all that. You think you'll be fine in a while.
All right.
Verity will say,
Also,
please be cautious.
Also, I'll say because of this contact, all that you'll be treated as if you used up your breath weapon.
Okay.
That
No
you
problem.
threw that heat away.
Okay.
Zoltan said, "Are we ready to proceed onwards?"
I nod.
Let's go.
All right, we not. So like, dark anima is the result of when someone accepts the negative energy too easily. or something like that?
Osmosis and then likes the negative energy too much. Like they fall
yeah,
into
I
the
think
void.
so.
Mhm.
Yeah, and never go back, sort of.
As Zoltan
alright.
walks forward, who has the highest passive perception?
Hey.
Haze?
Okay. It is hard to see because of the growing darkness here. I'll say Zoltan creates a small little light for you, just a lantern.
Oh.
And you can see like on the ground around like what you think at first be specks amidst the pristine sand appear to be little bits and pieces of discarded stuff. Like you can make out like earrings, like bits and pieces of clothes still intact.
I see.
And Haze, you can also make out there's some parts where it looks like a snow angel, except in the negative imprint.
Oh.
Oh.
Hayes will like pick something up, like a random thing, and like okay. So what does he pick up first of all?
Okay, I'll say you pick up what appears to be an earring. Like well, because some maybe parts of the little trinket finder have rubbed off on you, so it's like the shiny things are more valuable.
Huh, okay. Pick up the shiny thing and look at it. Can I tell like how old it was? Like what kind of earring it was?
Hard to say. I mean, like Sigil is full of like buyer beware sort of goods.
Mm-hmm.
This one looks like a fairly common copper earring.
Ah, okay. So what I'm thinking is probably belong to the people that came for these experiments. Would that make sense for Hayes to think that?
You presume like if they took onto a shadowy form or something and left behind, yeah, it could make sense. They wouldn't bring their material possessions with them.
Okay. Hayes will continue walking then.
He's the scientist.
There's also like little.
Passive
You think you also see
investigation,
some
man.
coins around and all that if you wish to pick them up.
Ooh, yes, I will pick up a loose coin if it appears shiny.
Okay. Roll.
Oh, shiny!
Roll a d20.
Ah,
He's gonna roll a 16. Shit.
You're
half of
half
that.
right.
Okay. I'll say you scrunch around all that. You end up picking a combination of copper and silver.
Neat.
To a total of 8 silver pieces.
Cool. All right, and then I proceed.
You happily pick as you go along. Zoltan drifts forward, and then it's let's see the next part. Okay. There begins to be a climb upwards that again Zoltan makes sort of easily along as he goes. Let me just.
Does he make stairs?
Yes, again he does. That seems to be a
Nice.
talent of his.
He's a earthbender
Stair
on this
maker.
plane.
Sandbender.
Okay. Zoltan brings you upwards to here. Where up? You notice that as you travel along, the quality of the astral plane seems to imprint itself on you. It's like everything here is like free floating, free like the gentle wind in the distance, the slow drifts, like soft sand sort of falling down and making little ringing noises, whispers in your mind, memories, faint vivid images. The whole thing makes it very hard to keep track of time.
Are the shadow dudes still following me?
As you head up towards this area, it seems that things seem to start getting brighter around here, like as if the zone of shadow only lasted as far as this area.
Oh.
We are coming out into the light. Zoltan looks up and here you see a peak of some kind.
Oh.
I was rather concerned that we might meet Director Tomoska here, but he is not around, it seems. So the third method mentioned in the vast book was suppression, where sensory or emotional deprivation will reduce the capacity for both forms of energy, making it easier for subsequent conditioning. You look forward and you can make out well, Hayes can make out the shoes and such, where
On
it seems
what?
that well, on the ground itself,
I see.
with like seating imprints of such, where there may have been people or whatever things.
Hayes will point these out
Okay.
to the companions.
And you do notice that as you get closer, though, Zoltan says, we may not be able to communicate easily once we go ahead. The zones are still affected by the various sensory deprivations.
Verity will ask Zoltan, how does the director travel from each side without getting affected by their own spells?
Moscow and Harvest have regions that they're familiar with. They have studied this plane more closely than I have. Instantaneous transport would not be difficult for them.
So, are you saying that it's easy for them to just leave instantly, if they so wish, from this realm?
They are anchored to this realm, as I understand. Though they may permit access and departure from it, they themselves form part of the anchor. They are bound, as I am.
Will we then be able to apprehend them and bring them back to Sigil?
In likelihood, you may have to defeat them if you wish to do so.
Verity will remain silent.
With that line of thought, if we defeat you, will we gain your power?
Sultan turns to look at Balasar. Insight check?
I'm really good at this.
Oh!
Apparently I am.
Okay, I will say that, let me just roll. Okay. Balasar, Zoltan turns around to you in his fatigued, weary way. And for a moment, though, you sense something else, something dangerous.
Okay.
And then it passes, and then Zoltan. I'm not sure. I don't think he has been experimented before.
All right. Duly noted then.
Rose is gonna say to Balazar, please don't try anything against our guide here.
Oh, I would never.
Balasar Zoltan says, so do we need to experience the suppression effects firsthand, or can we proceed to the next area?
We may proceed.
We don't see any experiments from here, right?
From here,
Do we see anyone?
Like,
Any humanoids?
from what you can tell, like the areas themselves are conditioned for the experiments. For this one, okay. This
Anyone
requires okay. The experiment is here. Zoltan tells you, but you don't see anything up ahead. But Zoltan tells you have to get closer if you want to know for sure. Sensory deprivation is a blanket effect.
Oh well, Verity's gonna risk it, I guess.
So is it like blindness, deafness?
Zoltan said, you may wish to employ rope if you want to go in.
Okay, so it's from this slope that goes downwards, is it?
The slope goes upwards. This
Oh, it goes
upwards towards a tip of some kind.
Okay.
Hayes will put his claw on Verity's shoulder and say,
Claw.
"This one does not recommend we do this now."
Neither.
But we have to witness it for ourselves.
Isn't that the whole point of this tour?
Given the situation, we've already seen one kind.
Haze, your shadow things have departed you.
Friends.
After Verity says that, Hayes will say, "Very well. Do I have my rope with me?"
Check your own inventory. I don't
50
keep.
I
shots.
have rope.
Everybody has rope.
As in, like our gear is still here, right?
I'm pretty sure that the fifth
Oh, I-
edition made it so that every single idiot had rope on
Yes.
them.
I don't have rope.
Yes.
I
I have
don't
50
have rope.
feet of rope.
All right, I do have.
Okay, how do you
So-
wish to enter the place? What preparations and all that?
Tie a
Well,
rope
I
to
guess
one
you
of
guys
your
tie a rope on
arms.
me.
We can tie multiple ropes on him.
Okay, what length of rope do you want?
Uh,
I think one should be enough. I have a
50, because it's
50
pretty
foot-
far. Like
I have a 50
one
foot thing on it.
Okay, but like
one
keep in mind
square is
the-
very big,
very big.
so you might need like 2 or 3 ropes. So I have one. Verity has one.
I
you
have
have
one.
That's 150.
Ooh, can
Plus
I, while
minus.
everyone's checking their rope, can I pull Rose to the side?
Okay.
I
Oh,
think
look at
I think we'll let 150 just for curiosity's sake because yeah.
That's the number of Pokemons that there were.
Ah.
Be right back, Robin.
Pokemons.
Be right back.
Okay,
Alright.
Balasa pulls Rose to the side. What happens?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull her to the side and be like,
Rose is going to struggle a bit and say, "Hey, why are you touching?"
look,
Danger, danger.
do you want to be useful for once?
I don't know this man.
Okay, she's going to like her eyebrows are gonna furrow so badly as she glares at Balasar, and she's going to spitefully say, "What?"
Yes, yes, yes. You don't like me, and I don't like you either. That's old news. But look, that tip up there. I think
Yeah,
with
what?
me and Fira's combined ability, we could throw you up there.
What? Excuse me?
You seem very nimble.
Throwable.
Well, I am
Fira-
small
Fira-
and light and cute.
Fira dare say though, I don't think my arrow could go that far.
Oh no, we're not attaching her to the arrow.
This is sounding like a very bad idea, especially coming from your mouth.
Just making a few suggestions. is
Conversation.
all.
She's going to like glance at Alara. How far away is Alara?
They're doing their little rope
We're,
camping.
we're probably
They're
just
here to
holding
help you.
roads
They're here
like
to bail you out. Don't get
tying
up
things
shit.
together.
Idiot with idea here.
We're tying rope, man.
Yeah, you can't get their help. You gotta deal with this yourself.
I want to ask, the spell protection from evil and good
Yes.
is only against creatures. Doesn't protect against other things.
Such as?
Like the sensory deprivative whatever spell they put.
No, it protects against like charm, possession. that kind of thing.
Frighten, possession, charm.
It wouldn't help you against sensory deprivation.
I see.
But if you thought there's something trying to possess you, then whatever.
Nah, I mean, it's Verity. He's just gonna cast it anyway on himself. Alright, so the plan is
We throw Rose.
No.
Verity will go and have a look and come back. Yes.
So 150-foot rope?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we
10 feet
we
probably.
tie,
Casting the protection from evil and good.
and then I
Um,
tell Verity if anything is wrong, tug on the rope. We'll come get you. or vice versa.
Verity
This one
nods.
will begin reeling you in if you stay stationary for more than a few seconds.
Not a bad idea.
Did
Just-
Belisar say that, or did
Yeah,
Kim
no,
say
I'm
that?
not there. I'm not there. You guys are. I'm
Oh,
like
okay,
with
okay.
Lewis at the side. Yeah.
What I think is okay. Walking from here towards that 150 feet length, how long does it take? About.
Okay, I'll say Zoltan is at the base of the area. So let me just quickly draw. So this is the base.
Yep.
Verity. As soon as you step past that limit, well, to the others, like Verity just vanishes.
What?
Hayes will wait 30 seconds and then begin pulling the rope back.
Give me some time to
30
walk,
seconds
guys.
from now.
Okay, as in like Verity, things look normal to you.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look back, you don't see your friends. You just see like the rope hanging there.
Oh. So it's some sort of like barrier or some sort. So he
Like
like
the
he
rope,
tries to go back
like,
down.
Like the rope is like suspended in mid-air, cut off at a certain point.
Okay, he goes back there, and then if he walks back out, he can see them.
You walk back out and like things are back to normal.
Like just a little bit
there.
peak.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we see the suspended rope on our side too. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like Verity pops back out and looks out again.
Okay.
How much time do you wish?
How much time does it take to walk?
Sultan looks up. Oh, done already. That was just a few seconds of walking past and out. I mean, you didn't walk. You didn't walk 150 feet, right? You just.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm just asking. 150 feet takes about how long? Because I'm trying to estimate.
You don't know. You have to start
about
walking.
like
Did you get too
half
scared,
an hour, I
Tin
guess.
Man?
Half an hour. Verity was saying.
Okay. I don't know your choice.
Did you say
I'm not sure.
150
150
feet?
is.
Because I assume the first thing you checked was the moment you didn't see your friends, you popped back out, right?
Yeah, that's the first.
You know, like in one round you can move 30 feet,
If
60
I
if you
dash.
dash.
So I
60
guess
if you dash.
30 feet. I mean 30
So,
seconds.
so that's
Uh,
60
We'll give you
per
a minute.
6 seconds.
a
Give
minute. Give me a
off
minute.
of it.
Yes, give me a minute.
Yeah.
All right.
6
Verity
times 6.
will say to Hayes,
Give me a minute. If I do not come back out, just do what you need to do.
Okay.
Hayes nods and waits for a minute and then starts pulling the rope back in.
Okay, I'll say that this area to the rest of you just appears to be like, lighted up. The place behind you was shadowed. So here is just like there's light all around here. Verity, as you walk back to the barrier again, there's light everywhere, like brighter than Sigil's light is pale in comparison. This is bright, harsh, blinding.
like very blinding bright.
Yes.
The sun.
But is there any source for this light?
Not that you can see. It's just very, very bright in here.
But I can still see normally. It's just very bright. Here, move forward.
Okay. You move forward and then you trip against something.
Oh. What? I look down.
Okay.
Where's
You
the gas?
look down like but you thought you were treading on sand and everything, but there's something around you stumbling and with the metal, with your plate armor and that you don't have the best sense, but you think you tripped over something lying on the sand.
Yeah. Verity's gonna look down.
You
at
don't
the-
see anything.
Nothing?
You know something
Okay.
is there. You don't see it.
Huh. Okay, he's gonna go back and like step on the thing that he thought was there.
You
Like
sense
poke with
some movement when you step on it.
like not a very heavy step, just like a poke with the leg.
Feels a little bit soft.
But I don't
it's
see anything.
moving.
It's just like some invisible thing, is it?
Seems to be invisible.
Strange. Okay, it's
And-
going to.
Nothing here makes sound either.
Yeah, so it's sensory. Yeah. Wait, so if I touch, I mean, I'll go down and like try to touch and see what kind of item or creature it is.
Okay, you go down and you touch it. Well, like how are you touching it?
Just like, you know, pat a bit, like pat.
You're trying to feel the outline, is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It feels like the outline of a humanoid.
Oh. I don't have dispel magic. I can't really do much here. Let's see. Is it moving? Is it alive?
You feel it moving. You don't know if it's alive.
Oh. Okay, I tries to speak. Nothing.
Nothing, no words come out of your mouth, although they are moving.
So it's silence. Okay. But I can still sense touching something, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll carry this humanoid with me.
Okay. Pick it up.
Are you actually timing this, DM?
I mean, it doesn't take very long for Verity.
Okay.
Okay. And what do you do with it after picking it up?
I just move forward with it.
Okay, Haze, 1 minute is up.
I will begin pulling the rope.
Oh shit.
Not like super hard, just like a steady 1 foot per. Every
Verity, you feel a
6
tug
seconds.
of the rope.
Yoink.
Okay, in front of me I just see whiteness, right?
Yep.
Like it looks like clear sand all the way up to a peak of some kind.
No other humanoids can be seen.
Nope.
Zoltan said it was at the peak.
I think also out of character, it's sensory deprivation, so they'll take away your sense of sight first. So even though you think you can see, you can't.
But if it's depriving my sight, I won't be able to see anything. I might be blind, but it's so bright.
Yeah. So maybe
So-
maybe it's like playing with you.
The thing you're holding is moving a little bit.
Well, he'll think that this person needs help and he'll go back out for now.
Okay. All of you see Verity re-emerge again after a minute,
Mhm.
holding what appears to be this.
It's an old man.
It's Luke freaking Skywalker.
What? Oh, okay.
Does he
Verity will
move?
ask him.
Are you alright, sir?
His eyes are blinking and such, but like he seems to be like waving and flopping around like listlessly.
Give him that.
Can I give
Lay
him
on hands.
lay on
5
hands
health.
5? Yeah.
What does Lay on Hands 5 do?
Cures. Let me check.
Cures a target of like 1 condition.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of one
it is
condition.
on-
Which condition?
Give him sight.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, let me just check the Lay on Hands thingy.
Let me have a look.
Now the question is, Verity, how many hit points are you pouring into this man?
Disease
Well,
or
we tried.
poison? No, disease or poison is not the same thing.
Oh, okay. I guess that's a
I think you're
lesser
thinking of lesser
restoration.
restoration.
Let me see. Do I have restoration? I do have lesser restoration. Okay, 1 point of lesser restoration on that guy.
Oh,
Cast.
wasted though.
It's alright to save people.
It's
Very
part
to
of
do
the
it.
investigation.
Yeah.
You can only see now, right? What is the view over here?
He's struggling to escape now.
Verity will try to calm him down. He's like,
It's alright, sir. You're safe.
Sultan says, "Oh, this again."
Cast hold person on him.
I asked Zoltan, has this happened before?
Balasa uses hold person. Roll.
Already removed the spell slot.
What's your DC?
It's 16.
He fails.
Oh,
Just.
he doesn't have any con.
I think it's wisdom.
He doesn't have any. No.
Zoltan.
He's lost his wits.
That's much better. Zoltan turns. Yes, this has happened before. Sometimes primes find their way in, and the outcomes are rarely desirable for any.
He was invisible inside, and well, I guess that's the experiment, isn't it?
Yes, there are probably others too, but I doubt we'll want to waste too much time.
What
Noted.
should I do with this one?
It's your choice.
Well, we don't have time to spare, but the fact is there might be other people alive in there.
Is there any way to...
Perhaps we could remove them from whatever this is after we extricate the two directors.
Yes, but for now, he's conscious, and I think...
Frozen solid right now.
Well,
For how long? How long is the hold person spell?
1 minute.
1 minute, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We need to make a decision here.
my suggestion is throw him back in. We can pick him
My
up
suggestion
later.
is to just knock him out.
Well, that works as well.
Because putting him back in is gonna be bad. Bringing him along is gonna be bad.
I mean,
Letting him
out-
escape is gonna be
Verity
bad as
just
well.
like punch
out-
him?
Do
Out
you
of
say that?
character,
Verity, do you say-
like out of character, I would think that he's been
actually,
alive in there for so long. So putting him back in there, it's like, oh hey, okay, bye.
What do you do in character?
No, I mean,
Verity
what I'm
punch.
suggesting is just out of character stuff. So I'm
Actually, let's try and keep to in character for
Yeah.
now. Since
There
you're
you
all
go.
there, there's no point to
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Just punch
okay.
him.
Verity will just like he's just on.
Well, it can't be helped. I'm sorry, sir.
Then he knocks him unconscious.
Punch him in the face. I like it.
All right.
Alara
Don't
sees
punch
a
him, maybe the
new.
pommel to like boink his head a bit.
Alara sees
Okay,
Verity do
don't
this
give
and
me
be
the
like,
problem.
what?
You knock out the old man. You are now an unconscious old man.
I release hold person.
It does not change anything with the old man.
Yeah. I just want to watch him slump to the floor.
Still, knock the
Okay, and
fuck
then Verity
out.
put him down slowly and says,
Well, we can't bring him with us, and I don't think it's safe for him to run away by himself. I
So,
think
as I was saying, we could put him back in that
putting
place.
him back is not... It's not very good for him as well.
He survived for this long.
Putting him
He
back in
might, be,
sounds
he
gross.
might be dying.
It's debatable considering how long
If we
he's
try
been
to
here.
save every little thing that comes our way, we're never gonna get anything done.
The other thing is there might be other people alive in there, so there's no point saving this one person for the moment and delaying everything.
That's what I'm
So-
saying. We should... Okay. We will deal with this after we deal with the directors. So for now, we'll move on.
Yep,
And we
but
can put him here.
effectively, we're leaving him here. And
And
if
it's
he
done
does
then.
wake up, he'll be running back into the shadow area or the bright area.
No, I won't put him back there.
Well, it's your call. Either way.
Excuse me.
Okay,
Okay.
Verity will find a spot for him to put the old man.
Oh god.
Okay, I'll say Alara, Balasa, and Verity make a charisma saving throw.
What?
What?
Well, plus 5 is 19.
Charisma.
17.
Nat 20! So,
Okay.
29.
Oh baby.
Balasa is 8. Okay. As you all are debating on what to do with this old man, like it takes you a while to notice, but you realize somehow subconsciously your voices have all been raising louder and louder to try and get heard over the other person. And then like you all stop with the realization that like somehow this has almost progressed into a shouting match.
Did we raise our voice?
We didn't know, but apparently we
Unconsciously it
did.
was happening.
I see.
That's quite interesting. I suggest we get to move on as soon as possible. This place is
Yeah, I mean,
begun to
Verity
take a
will
toll.
find a place to put the lighter man down.
Where do you put it?
Is there like a place that's slightly concealed, that's not open?
It's open.
Everywhere is open?
You're on the body of a dead god. I suppose you could try to find like I don't
This
know
one
what.
believes it will be safe to just leave him here,
Yeah.
as we did to the
Is-
sea.
Verity reluctantly put him in a corner. Yes, okay, done.
Okay.
Let's not dally with this too long.
It's
The
like,
old man
let's go,
somewhere.
let's go.
Now this way. We are quite likely to encounter the directors here, so I hope you have prepared what you wish to say. Shall we proceed?
Verity looks at everyone.
I nod. What's a guy's
Verity
face?
nods.
Grunts.
And you all begin at another incline upwards towards what you now realize as being like an elongated snout upwards, horns curled, demonic features, all shrouded in sand, still and immaculate. A wind of some kind blows out around here, bringing strange thoughts and raising the hackles along your neck. Dead gods, they call it. You're not sure how dead. And as you approach here, Zoltan stops. They are present. Perhaps I should announce myself.
Verity nods.
Okay, I'm going to move over to this map.
Dun, dun, dun. It's a
Zoom
face.
It's a face.
Holy pixelated Batman.
How do
Place your minis on the map.
Where do we put them?
I'm gonna put them in
On
his
the face
nose.
Not in the depressions.
Damn it.
Those are huge depressions, by the way.
I was just gonna like, let's dig his nose.
So just like that?
Like
Okay.
the nose can be easily like 100 feet drop or
Oh,
something.
damn.
Oh, okay, nope. No, don't want nothing to do with that.
Zoltan says it may be beneficial to have the inspectors move forward first.
I agree.
Well,
Okay,
Verity will
and
step
let
forward.
me change the music.
That's a bad place to be on the snout. I would like to be just below the snout.
I'll just use like my position and like everyone else's rough position as a guide, because
Yeah.
Map's like not scaled anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I'll say this one is more scaled.
Oh, okay.
But yes, it's that massive. So music, okay, wait. Let me put the repeat in.
I already did it manually
Yeah, you want to add the repeat thing.
because I'm so hyped for this music.
Cat.
Oh, it
So
sounds
Tan
so
steps
ominous.
off, and the first thing you notice, in addition to like the massive skeletal features around you, which makes Verity uneasy, floating like standing above this eye, it's like this whole area is just like it's just bright, harsh, and hard to look at, while this area is shrouded in shadows. And here below you, the mouth is like a yawning chasm with two smaller holes for the nostrils. You can only imagine the creature as it was when it moved around. Zoltan steps forward. Directors Tomoska and Director Harvest. We have inspectors from the Harmonium.
He a bird fellow.
Verity.
Mm-hmm.
On Tomoska, you remember him as being a fairly jovial person, quick with a joke and a quip and a sarcastic remark. This one you see before you is flaring with positive energy, just bright lights all around him, and the temperature rises in proximity as well, all bright and harsh. Harvest, you remember as being a slightly quiet fellow, businesslike for the most part.
Mm.
This one here is still wears the armor of the Harmonium, but shadows seep forth from the armor and around it, infusing the area with coldness. The temperature drops harshly in this direction.
Is that little face just like a detail on his helmet?
You think it's a detail in the helmet?
Okay. Okay. Cool. Like, why is his
And,
face so small?
Tomoska speaks. Directors, Officer Verity, it is a pleasure. And you have a new officer.
Hayes nods in acknowledgement.
Verity will, he will
Are
stand
you
in a.
here on sigil business or Harmonium business?
Verity will stand in a more rigid way and says,
I have been delegated an investigation, and I have been led here. Director Tomoska and Director Havas, is it?
Harmonium business. That is correct.
Verity puts on a very stern tone. He says,
You are under arrest on suspicion of kidnapping, mutilation, and murder of crimes under the protection of sigil law, in conjunction with going against the Harmonium Code of Conduct. We are bringing you in for further questioning.
There's a pause as the light seems to flare brighter and the shadows deepen around Harvest. You are here on authority of the Harmonium.
Yes.
Then let us settle this with the Harmonium. Verity, Officer Verity, and Officer Hezekin. Let us discuss this matter in private. Okay, Verity, from what you understand is when the Harmonium when they call it Harmonium business, it means for Harmonium ears only.
okay.
Which is how they usually handle certain jurisdictions and all that.
Within the Harmonium, right?
Yes.
Verity will not. And I guess
This way, please. They
right.
beckon to you to step forward.
Okay, Verity will do it.
Okay.
You know what to do if there's trouble.
Hayes, you're approaching Tomosker.
Oh,
It gets very uncomfortable as you get near all the bright light and everything. You feel your shadow abilities negated. Okay. Harvest steps forward as well, and Verity.
do I notice how far the aura stretches until? Like how close do I get before?
Within 20 feet.
Okay.
Verity, as Harvest, just steps forward silently. You feel your own abilities are also being muted within a 20-foot radius. But they both extend their hands formally and respectfully. They give the correct salute and offer their hands out. This way, please.
Well, Verity will do the thing. Will shake his hand and
Okay.
we'll go because it's the
yeah.
proper thing to do.
The four of them vanish.
Do we walk somewhere? Or...
You vanish. It's like,
Piaf.
I would like to detect for any signs of magic as they vanish. Any kind of do I feel like any kind of teleportation magic?
you're detecting how?
Just like with my
Passive
raw
Arcana
dragon magical ability.
Balasat, you did not see them moving their hands or anything, so this goes
Okay.
beyond magic.
Okay, I would like. Can I sniff? Do I smell the essence of magic in the air?
You know that when Zoltan was making stairs and all that, it didn't seem magical.
Okay, duly noted.
Can Rose try to detect portal then?
Portal? Portal takes a while to detect, right?
Yeah, a minute.
You could try, but 1 minute is quite a long time.
Mm.
Zoltan
In
sees
terms
them
of combat.
vanish and turns around to all of you.
Well, I guess they're dead. What are you guys gonna do now?
I wanna ask Zoltan. Does this kind of thing happen often with other officers of the Harmonium? Probably before this.
I should hope not. Their mastery of this plane is impressive.
Ah.
Are they
Most
still
Harmonium
playing?
members are not quick learners, so to speak. But now that we are here together with none of the Harmonium present, perhaps there's a few matters we should discuss.
Does he look like he is on the offensive?
I don't think he ever looks like he has emotion.
It's quite emotionless. I guess. Pardon me, but I must ask, how familiar are you with Officer Temperance? Officer Verity, was it? And Hezekiah?
Quite familiar. I would say they're very trustworthy people.
Rose is gonna ask Alara,
You
who's
could even-
Temperance?
That's Verity's full name.
I see. All right.
You could even call us.
Do you
and he
want to
cringes
insight
when he
check
says
me?
this.
You are very, very trustworthy, it seems.
Why?
You see, I have my concerns.
Towards
The
Alpha also?
Harmonium tend to stick together, right or wrong.
Mm-hmm. So you're
Very
saying
easy.
that if Verity and Hayes were to go with Tomaska and Harvest, that they would come back and be on their side?
Verity seems much too appalled by the whole thing to be persuaded by words.
You have too much faith in the Tin Man.
More than you.
The harmonium have ways of working their words.
Well,
And what will you do if Verity decides to drop everything?
well, if he decides to drop anything, then charges will not be pressed. I'm looking for any sort of facial recognition on Zoltan
He's
when he
emotionless as
hear.
fuck, you know.
Yeah, just like imagine if there were.
Insight?
Ah, there you go.
Especially on the mention of things like dropping the case, this going on. Inside check, inside check, inside
Go,
check.
go, go. Alara von clear.
17.
Sweet.
There's a flicker of something in the eyes.
Could I catch if it was irritation? Well, positive or negative?
Negative.
It looks to me, Zoltan, that you might want this operation shut down. Is that true?
I'm not sure how much you have heard from the harmonium, but are you familiar with the Dustman's philosophies?
Well, quite not too familiar, but I understand where you're going.
We believe in the true death,
And
that
this,
life itself is an illusion that we indulge in. We are trapped in, well, they call it the circle of life and death for a reason. Emphasize it is a circle. We are trapped until we can find our way to be free. And to that, we must live, we learn, we die, are born again, until we find a way to break the circle.
and these experiments actually impede you from finishing that cycle. Is it correct?
If it were only myself, no. I have seen how these experiments go. Those things you saw were the byproducts. Perhaps not the intended results. But I think you might imagine why I take offense at this.
Of course. Well, I trust that Verity and Hayes have a lot of things under control. They're not exactly your typical harmonium officers.
Or are they?
They
Right?
are.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Either way, if they do take the side of Tomaska and Harvest, perhaps we'll have to exit for safety and come back later.
Yes, to speak honestly, we are but guests of Verity and Case. If they drop the case right now, here, I doubt we can make any move on our own.
Because we're not part of the harmonium officially, we're just assisting in the investigation under the orders, well, under the acknowledgement of, I forgot the name of the guy.
I see.
Yeah, Fractal Sarin.
Zoltan looks around. I see. So the harmonium still have the lid on everything.
Well, naturally.
Let's say they don't. Let's say they come out. They drop the case. And I go for Harvest's neck. What would you do then?
Are you talking to Zoltan?
Yeah.
I will do everything I can to assist, but indirectly. You must understand that the circumstances in which this experiment was formed was that no director might harm another.
Of course.
Yes, yes. And I also heard that you don't have as much power as they do. So
Okay.
either way, you need to understand from my point of view, fighting them with you is a liability. For now, anyway.
I look at Valisa and I go, how so?
You want the weaker of the three to help us in a fight against the stronger of the three?
Well,
How is that ever a winning? How is that ever a winning fight?
well, you're looking at assistance from every junction. In a fight, 2 against 1, of course, is not ideal, but having him on their side would be even worse, don't you think?
He's not on their side. They taint his very reason for existence.
Exactly. So instead of having him not do anything, perhaps assistance would be wise. But
Do
that's
not do
assuming.
not take offense on my behalf. I'm quite used to disparagement.
Of course. I'm just trying to figure out what my colleague here is trying to say.
What I'm trying to say is they come out. Verity drops the case. We don't want to drop the case. Let's just say that.
You're assuming
so we
that they
want to
will
help-
drop the case.
So we want to help Zoltan. So we attack Tomosker and Harvest.
And then
At
you
best,
get attacked
at,
as
at
well.
worst, it is a 4-on-3 with an old man who can't do much but help us from the sidelines. Does that sound like a winning fight to you?
You're assuming that we are in a position to argue with the law, essentially. We're here helping Verity investigate, and if they drop the case, we have no reason to continue the investigation.
I'm not talking about what we're actually going to do.
Okay, Alara and Balasa make a charisma saving throw.
Oh god, the unconscious thing, no!
Charisma. 20.
Wow,
Rose, you notice them raising their voices again and
guys,
seem to catch themselves in time.
you guys keep doing that.
Well, I do find that quite interesting.
It's this plane, I swear. But yes,
Oh.
I do like to yell a lot. Look,
Again, I say you're assuming that you think I would follow through with attacking someone
I'm
not
going
under
to-
orders.
Please do not shatter my image of your intelligence. I'm saying in a world where we do attack, we would never win.
Of course,
because
that's
we
what
would
I've been
never-
saying the
And
whole
because we would
time.
never win, I'm telling Zoltan that we cannot attack right now. But that
What
doesn't
you-
mean we're not on his side.
Well, the way you worded it was very, very difficult to understand.
It's because your land speaks a different way from mine.
Perhaps
Understand
you
that
should
we are
learn.
not kin.
No, exactly. Perhaps you should learn how to be civilized once in a while.
Rose is just watching out in case they come back.
Zoltan looks at Rose. You are quite quiet there.
Well, all this talk about ifs and the future, we'll decide when it happens. But like Balasa said, there's no way we can win if Verity and Haze is on their side. And like Alara says, it's not our jurisdiction anymore. Maybe another time we will
Zoltan
come.
nods. Then perhaps if you play along and return to Sigil, you might pass a certain message on to certain quarters.
That I can definitely do.
I nod.
Zoltan reaches under his robes and passes you up. Let's see. Who does he think is... Who has been... Okay, I'm trying to think in terms of who has been most vocally supportive of Zoltan.
I think Rosa.
No, Rosa
No,
is
Rosa is
quiet.
not committed.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Alara seems okay. Zoltan will pass a sealed letter to Balasa.
Okay.
Do not break the seal until you are back in Sigil, then follow the instructions carefully.
Rose is gonna tell Balasar good luck, as in listening to instructions.
Shit, I can't spurt fire. Yeah, so Balasar is going to look at Zoltan and he's going to go,
I can't read.
all right. Will this help our cause? And
Zoltan nods.
consider it done then.
Okay, and Zoltan says, is there anything else you wish to discuss before they return?
What is the most effective way of taking them down if we do start fighting?
You may have noticed that Tomoska contains the essence of light and harvests that of the shadows. They are equal and opposite. Fire and ice, light and shadow. It can be used against them.
I remember distinctively back there, you mentioned that had they been in proximity most of the time, they negate each other?
Yes, close proximity.
How close is close?
He makes a gesture outwards, I think maybe within 20 feet of each other.
That is very close.
So if we keep them together, they're less effective. Noted.
That would be quite a challenge though. They know their weakness, and 20 feet, there's no way you can get close to others in 20 feet without realizing it.
And this is a big place.
Do they have
To our advantage, they are not the sort to flee when challenged.
Good.
Rose is gonna ask Zolta, how are you able to assist us if we fight?
The less details shared, the better for now. We are all still directors, and there are certain things that are known.
Fair enough.
But suffice to say, I retain some of my magical abilities.
What are their chances of fleeing given that they are the anchor to this plane?
They cannot leave this plane.
At all?
You said this already. They can control and allow people to come in and out.
This experiment, this arrangement, was formed in agreement that 3 of us would serve as the anchors here, while Governor Navas Strathburn served as the intermediary in communications. I have not seen the governor for a while.
It does seem as if we might have to come into blows, because if they control who comes in and comes out, there's no saying that we'll be allowed to leave.
You all have been civil so far, and unless Verity decides to change his tone. You all should leave equally peacefully.
I nod. Out of character, how long has it been since they exited?
We're not
stage
sure.
left? Oh.
I'm sure.
Okay, and okay, initially I had plans to do stuff like have you all mute yourselves at certain intervals and all that, but I realized it really screws up the recording and all that.
It's okay.
Okay, so anyone else have anything else to ask?
No, Belisar? Rose?
Rose? Question mark. I have one, but it's not very nice.
Come. When has your questions ever been nice? Come on. Come
Does
on,
Rose
Gabe.
not want to ask anything? Last chance.
Oh no, she said she's in like noisy thing,
Chatter
so
and
she's,
she's
like,
moving
her
away a
neck
bit.
up.
So I'm taking that as a no. Or
Okay,
no
we'll
choice.
move on to Verity.
Didn't
and
Balazar have
Hayes.
something to ask?
Alright.
Okay, Verity and Hayes time.
There you go.
Okay. Let me see this. So give me a moment to set something up. What's that sound?
What's what sound?
Music. Right. You find yourselves in a different location on what appears to be, oh, sorry, I need to move the map back. Okay, let me move the map is back, moved already, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Verity and Hayes, you find yourselves before directors Tomoska and Harvest on the highest peak in this particular realm, which seems to be the top of the dead god's belly.
Oh damn! I did not expect that.
Oh.
Right, the air around you here is chilly and like whips around, but the presence seems to be regulated. As Tomoska and Harvest's proximity turn the chill and the heat into something resembling warmth.
So they are close to each other then?
Yes, they're standing close to each other at the moment. And
Okay.
looking around you, strangely enough, like this hill is tall and in concentric rings, almost like plateaus. You see what appears to be vineyards?
Vine? Like grapes?
There are no grapes that you can see. There's some kind of a thorny bush growing. Thorny bush growing and snaking into the ground and such. That reminds you in a way of razor leaf, but not quite so hostile. And there are people around here. Moving, living people, it seems.
Huh. Like what? Like, how do they look like?
They look, most of them look like average Seagull citizens, except slightly stronger or tougher in form and such, like slightly rough looking.
So is this like camp peace then?
These are, well, you see some of them tending to the vineyards around them and such, and others of them are seeming to be doing what you recognize as like military exercises, running along, like the course and all that. And at the director's arrival and at yours as well, a few of them stop, give salutes, and carry on.
Huh, cool.
So are there like houses or tents in this place so far?
You don't see any permanent construction, but you think you make out several holes or caves along.
Huh, okay.
Oscar is the first to break the silence. I assume by now you will have heard most of everything from Director Zoltan, or his version anyway.
Hayes nods.
Rarity nods. And Verity will say,
The experiments are still going on, even when it's supposed to be closed down.
Oscar looks at you. Pardon? We have not received any official orders to stop operations.
Factosarin was not aware of this experiment.
Factosarin sanctioned, well, he agreed to Navarre's research in conjunction with the Mercy Killers.
But that was already done.
Already done? What do you mean? We have not received any official orders to stop.
The book was published, and Governor Navarre said he disassociate himself with all of this, except for the first practice of it. And you are supposed to supervise, not to conduct the experiment yourself, is it not?
One thing at a time. What book? The light flares around him in sort of strange patterns, and however seems to sink deeper into the shadows.
well, Verity gives the book, shows them the book that Governor have written.
Oscar extends his hand to take the book and looks at it. This is... Outstanding orders were to proceed until asked otherwise, and we have not received a stop notice. This...
How long have you been here? How long do you think you have been here?
They look at each other. A long time. We knew it would be a long embarkation when we took on this experiment. Governor Navarre taught us how to carry it out as part of the in case. Standard procedure demands that at least 2 people know how to carry on things in case one goes missing. But take a look around you. You see all of this, these people.
And I've seen the worst of it.
Understand this. The subjects we experimented on were all Mercy Killer death row inmates. They were condemned one way or another.
But their soul deserves the right to die. Rightfully, not through experiments.
Officer Verity, to be honest, your actions inspired us. You took on the task of trying to discern the innocent of the prison. I think you are familiar with now that the Mercy Killer's idea of justice tends to end at death. Our opinion is that if a dog digs a hole in your garden and you shoot the dog, you still have a hole. Better that we let the criminals amend and work for their past mistakes than to just execute them. That is wasteful.
You're making them slaves.
Talk to them yourselves. See if they're slaves. The only question we have right now is that we can't return them to Sigil. They will be arrested on the spot.
Yes,
We are
because
working
this-
out the logistics of where they might go.
Do you know of all the primes that was killed and murdered by your
What
experiment?
crimes?
Verity asks Hayes to show.
Hayes will do as instructed. We'll show the corpses, right? This one believes that these primes may be a result of Director Zoltan's misplaced keys. It is clear that these directors knew not of what he was up to.
Director Zoltan was handing out these keys? That is not permitted.
But either way, I think we should at least let others know that this experiment is still going on, because in Sigil and the Harmonium, so far as we know, the experiment has been closed down.
Indeed.
I think Fectosarin needs to know about this.
Wait. They want to shut this experiment down.
Yes, otherwise Fectosarin wouldn't have asked me to proceed with this investigation.
Officer Verity, do you think it's not worth giving a second chance in life to those who have committed crimes?
I also think that it's not fair to experiment on them and give them a gruesome death that deserves no returning.
There are failures in the experiment, but there are also successes beyond measure.
But at what cost?
Costs? They were about to die. Would you prefer a corpse over a living man?
Would you rather have a living corpse and people who just can't die peacefully?
Speak to them yourself. They have free will. They can answer you.
Yes, and the others that are lying out there, being shadows and creatures. I see ones out there. Those failed experiments, they do not deserve that.
So you'd rather condemn them all than try to save some?
I'd
Perhaps
rather save
giving
them.
perhaps giving the prisoners the option to choose. That way they would be taking the risk themselves.
Good luck letting the mercy killers have the prisoners choose. The mercy killers thought we were inventing a better execution method. That's the extent of their faith in man.
Have you not spoken to them and you assume what they will do?
Jotlat Jawbreaker, come over here. One of them steps forward from the vineyards. It's a humanoid of mixed parentage, perhaps some orcish in there, perhaps a bit of tiefling blood as well. It is hard to say. But he's a towering brute, almost 7 feet tall, upright. And you can see from the heavy scars and everything that he's clearly been in one and many pit fight or bar fights. The tattoo seemed to suggest that he has kept record as well. They wish to speak to you. Go ahead. You have questions?
Were you one of the experiments done in this plane?
Yeah. Am I doing something wrong?
And others that came with you, what happened to them?
He looks around and gestures to the rest of them. Some of them got by, some didn't get by. He shrugs.
You saw what happened to the ones that did not get by.
He scratches his head a bit. They're somewhere out there, right?
Have you seen what has happened to them?
Unlucky, I guess.
What were you condemned? Why were you a criminal?
Okay, let me think how to put this. Okay, so I used to be, what's the word? Angry? I just had this thing about being angry. People made me angry. And then when I told them to go away all angry, like somehow more people came and more. So I started doing things to, well, what's the word again? Anyway, they made the angry go away. Like, I don't feel angry seeing you anymore.
Haze nods. This one has a question. Knowing what happened to those that were unlucky, would you go through the process again? Understanding the risks.
Well, I made it through, so I'll probably make it through again, I think. Maybe they weren't the right stuff.
If we were to bring you to the Mercy Killers to prove that you are one of the success, would you say that you would like to go
The
there again?
director folks say that if I go back to the Mercy Killers, they'll clap me back in again and chop my head off.
Right, he looks at Tomaska and Harvest. Is that how you intimidate your subjects?
The understanding with the Mercy Killers was this was to be an experiment in execution. They have not been pardoned.
Perhaps it is time for you to report on your successes. It is clear that
I
the ones
think-
in Sigil are unaware of the progresses you may or may not have made.
I think you should report to them as well.
And if the Mercy Killers demand back all of them, should we give them over?
We shall have to make our case.
Proving with your success case, it could help with your argument.
Verity, have you ever known a Mercy Killer to back down from their idea of justice?
They all have their own ways of viewing justice, and you have to speak to a reasonable one. I know it's hard to find, but there are Mercy Killers.
Can the
Who can be
factual be
reasoned?
convinced? That's the most important.
It is possible. If you do not speak to them, these people here will have nowhere to go until the end of times.
We are working the process of it. But you say you are willing to help.
I'm willing to speak to Mercy Killers about this, but we need you, both of you, to report your progress.
We cannot leave this plane of existence as we are the anchors. We have not seen our correspondent, Navas Strathburn, for a while. We have no idea he published a book.
He went to Mechanus.
What? He abandoned the project without informing us?
It would seem so.
This project, if human experiments, it is not Harmonium Code of Conduct. You know that.
Perhaps so. But we are willing to go further to give others a second chance.
This is not a second chance if the risk is eternal suffering.
They look at each other and look back at you again.
How many have died for this experiments? How many?
We have, well, Governor Navarre's methods were about a 13% success rate. We managed to raise it to about 29. That's 1 in 4.
You've been gone for decades. And all these people died for these experiments.
I think you'll find the ones that were safe would be more grateful. But either way, I do not wish to raise my voice against another of the Harmonium. I
Either
will
way,
write
I
a
still
report. Will you deliver it?
Verity considers for a bit. I think it is best.
He nods.
I heard that you have control of this realm.
Yes. Me and Harvest, we do.
Give me the keys to come back here, back and forth, so that we can get factors coming in to see our progress.
We'll
That
see
will be
what
our
key
desired.
Zoltan still has. But Verity, we ask that you speak to the Mercy Killers first. If they can be brought over, then perhaps Fractal Sarin will see the merit in this as well.
I do not think that Factor Sarin will approve of this method. But I'm willing to give him a message, and he can speak to you personally.
Verity, just be aware that your actions might condemn all of these ones here to death. Keep that in mind. Jolat Jawbreaker, go back to your business. Yes, sir.
When he takes, like, he's like rubbing his forehead. I mean, his helmet.
No, this is still wrong.
Is there anything else?
We will deliver the message.
We will.
And one more thing. If you see Sargal around, that's the Hellhound Runner. Ask him to check on Governor Navarre Stratford's address.
He is not.
See if the correspondents have reached some kind of a dead end.
Is Sagal able to leave this plane?
Sargal is free and able to leave this plane. We do not have any portal keys on hand if Zoltan took them, so Sargal will be the key then. If he is lost, so is contact, unless you can somehow get the governor back.
You cannot open portals yourself, even with the control you have on this plane.
We can open the portals out of this plane, but if we were to open a portal into Sigil, there's interference from her serenity. The keys were the most reliable methods. And you're saying Zoltan has been throwing them around?
Who is bringing in all these criminals? Are they still coming in?
We were not aware that the latest batch were primes. We would not have proceeded if that were the case.
He's nuts.
I guess it's a huge mess. Right. Give me your report and I will give a copy to both of the factors.
Tom Oscar nods. Some thick sheafs of documents are given over to you. It's quite heavy and sizable.
Okay. Well, he's gonna take it. He has the strength to do it anyway.
We have decent strength scores. We should be aight.
Okay. You can add to your inventory experimental records. It seemed they continued diligently taking notes after the governor left.
So no one actually told them to stop. Shit.
Exactly. It's not their fault. The only reason it got
What
found
is
out.
your plan? What is your plan for these people here?
I think it would be better if we did not tell you.
Why so?
If they are to start a new life, they must find a new beginning. Preferably free from sigil.
Do they carry over their memories of the past?
With some detachment, but yes.
All right. I'll take the keys. But do know that anyone who comes in right now could be a prime. It seems that the keys are targeting clueless.
All right. I am grateful to have
And
met you, and I wish things could have gone better.
Please put this experiment on hold right now.
We will. Anything else,
I'll be in
officer?
contact. No, I'll be in contact.
Is there any way for us to like?
The contact
We can
point
have
will be
sense.
Sagao. Do not lose Sagao.
I might have been rash on my part. Sago is unconscious right now.
You attacked him?
It seems there's a miscommunication, and yes, I did. And I'll take responsibility for that.
All right. Be warned that Sagao does not quite have the ties to the Nine Hells he used to have, which is why we're confident to use him as a runner. Treat him as mortal.
Is he one of your successful experiments?
No, actually. That one, we can't quite say for certain where or when he came from, but he was willing and able. And we were not to turn down an opportunity for a messenger and runner that could cross the plains.
I will go back to him. It seems I owe him a huge apology. But either way, I will use Saga as a point of communication.
Godspeed. With that, you all re-arrive back at the head.
Pew.
Yeah.
Pack.
Shifting map again. We
Ew.
Poof.
Hey, we fight.
No.
the four arrive back and a accord has been reached. Officer Verity will brief you on the details as near necessary, and we believe you will be leaving about now.
Yes, we'll have to speak to Factos about this, and I'll brief you about this when we get back.
Rose is going
Back to Zoltan.
to look at Zoltan. Did Zoltan's face change? Rose is gonna.
Zoltan's features are hard to read, but he does side glance at Balasa, Rose, and Alara.
Okay.
Does he have the "I told you so" face on?
Hard to read, like I said.
Can we inside
All
check?
right. I will
Inside
assume.
check.
I will
Can
assume.
we inside check?
Yes, you can.
Verity will speak to Zoltan.
Oh,
Terrible
I
inside
inside
check.
check him.
I'm not gonna do shit.
I believe that he has the "I told you so" face.
Anyway, Verity will speak to Zoltan. He says,
Director Zoltan, we have reached an accord. The experiments here will be on halt, and I will speak to people in the sigil about this case. It will
Oh,
not be dropped.
that is an interesting development. I see.
And please do not put out any more of those keys. You're bringing in innocent crimes and clueless, and you're not completely guiltless, Director Zoltan.
I apologize. I will see to greeting any of them as they come.
Could you bring back a familiar and stop the selling of those keys?
Alas, I have lost contact with my familiar since the last instructions were to give the keys out.
Verity does the whole rub forehead thing again.
Is there a way we can corral your familiar from doing whatever it is that you told it to do?
It is not a very smart one, but it goes by routine. You should be able to find it again where it tends to paddle its trade.
Do you have a name that we can call out?
Something
Give me a
for it to
second.
know that the orders are coming from you.
I had the familiar's name somewhere here, but it's lost in the pile of notes. So
His name is Steve.
Steve the Pet Rock.
Steve the Pet Rock.
But anyway, while you're looking, Verity is just gonna ask,
Is it correct that it is an imp of sorts?
yes, it is.
Recently, it was in the bar. The bottle and
what's bottle and what again? I can't remember.
Jug?
The jug? Is it?
Bottle and Jug Tavern.
Yeah, the bottle. Okay.
it is
If
in the
it-
bottle and jug.
If it is a tenacious personality. If it fails, it simply regathers resources to try again.
That means we'll have to tell them you asked it to stop.
Yes, call it by the name that I granted.
What is the name?
I call it Zigzag.
Zigzag. Zigzag the imp.
Is there any way to track your familiar?
It's an imp. Any method that can track an imp will find it. Zagal should be able to find it as well.
Ah, so we can use Sargal.
Yes. Speaking of the Hellhound.
I can go and heal the Hellhound. I think it'd be
I mean, Verity
should
can
go
as
ahead
well.
Important.
to it.
Verity can as well.
yeah.
Okay.
Thomas and Harvard.
Okay.
Whenever you feel like leaving, just speak out aloud. It seems we have a discussion to be carried out between directors.
Verity nods. And I will take the responsibility of Zagal's well-being if he's in sigil.
what about the old man that we found?
Good
There
point.
is also one that I found in the decoration chamber.
Take care of whatever business you need to. You merely need to ask to leave and we will grant it.
All right.
How will we get back?
Use Zagal. Or use a key if you can find it.
So
We shall
it's
brief you en route.
so it would be okay for us to have Zaga around. Do you grant the permission to us?
With the experiments halted, we have no need for a runner. You may inform it as such. Tell it you have the
Right, is-
director's approval.
He
Rarity,
might
we're not.
ask for paperwork.
Yes, it does seem to be intent on seeing the papers.
Balasar is gonna take out.
Have a
tab.
scribble something
Okay.
on a piece of slate and hands it over. It looks like a signature.
It's a post-it note.
Rarity takes that, and then Rarity will do the whole salute. Thank you very much for your cooperation, directors.
I wish I could say it was a pleasure, but at least one thing is done.
Yes, it was much appreciated. Now we will have to attend to what we need to. And Verity will do a salute and leaves.
See
Okay.
you later, bitch.
What?
What?
Right? So,
Oh, actually, one more thing. The gentleman passed out over there. Is he particularly heinous with his crime? He is passed out, so we
which
do need...
one?
I point to the general direction
Wait, how do you
I
know
will-
that he's a criminal?
because
I
everybody
will-
here is a criminal except
Our
for
minor illusion is face.
yeah.
We saw his face. Whoa, shadows.
We'll need the experimental records back for a bit.
That means tossing him back inside. Let's go.
No,
No.
don't do that.
They consult the experimental records. It seems this one is a prime, it would seem, but not exactly innocent. It came from the world of Toril, where it seems to have a past of harnessing necrotic energy for various means. It subsequently decided to try and escape its past in Sigil by joining the faction I believe is known as the Bleakers.
I look at Verity. It's your call.
You
We
may
will bring
wish
him
to be
back.
aware, Officer Verity, that Sigil has become a laughing stock in some of the recent years. We are known as a crime hub, where everyone can come in and come out and get their business done. Keep that in mind as well.
It is the cage. It is where everyone goes to. That's why we aim to make it a better place.
But there are apparently some primes who use it to hop back and forth as well. Those are the problematic ones.
Verity will not comment on that.
What will you do with him?
This
I
one
will bring
recommends
him
we
back.
leave him here.
I'm inclined to agree.
All right. So how do you wish to proceed now?
We're going to go back to
First we go
Saga.
back
We
to
gotta
Saga.
Yeah.
go save Steven
Sagal.
Seagal.
To Zaga.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Don't we toss the man back into the...
They'll handle it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just
Be
leave him
cool.
there. It's fine.
Okay.
Then we go to Dago.
In quick order, you're brought back to where Sargal.
Hey, buddy. Sorry, we punched you in the gut.
It's apparently up, but not about. As Arya is poised over it with like a horn just like pointed the direction.
Verity speaks to Arya and says,
Instruct
stand
Arya to
down.
heal the.
And then I will healing word.
What did I do?
I will healing word level 1.
Rose is going to
And I give
flashback
him 6
right now.
points.
No, it's okay. I mean, save your points. Verity will give him 25 points.
Kool-Aid
Take
already
some.
did.
Yeah, anyway, both of us just heal him up. And Verity will go on his knees in front of Saga and says,
My apologies, Saga. It was rash of me to do that. But the directors... It is alright, Saga. We will not be hitting you anymore. And we have spoken to the directors, both Director Tomaska and Director Havas.
Did we pass the inspections?
You failed miserably.
It
That's
appears
why
that
I
there's
don't know why they
miscommunication
sit
from
back
our side, and you are to come with us as a point of communication between these two planes. I will be delivering some messages back in Sigil, and you are to come with us.
and then Verity gives him the signature. Just to
Oh.
prove it.
Okay, I can do this.
My
What's the
apologies.
first course of action?
We are going to return to Sigil, and I will take responsibility of your well-being. And when we have to return to this plane, you will lead us back here.
We will first be delivering these reports to the factors of the Harmonium and the Mercy Killers.
All right. So
Verity
we're leaving
says,
now?
I'm really sorry for what I've done.
It's okay. I get hit harder than that on a regular basis. So
Employee abuse.
But I'll make sure you'll be treated better when we go back to Sigil. Now we shall leave this realm back to Sigil.
right. As soon as you say that, the air around you swirls as you sense the opening of a portal. And you all are pushed out. Let me think. You all didn't specify a destination, did you?
No, but we did
back
say
to
we have.
Sigil,
Back
back
to
to
where we come from.
Well, we
Back
should-
to where we came from.
Well, I mean, as the DM,
Would he
No,
know
you can do whatever
the
you
exact location?
We
I mean,
did tell
when
them that
Verity says
we-
go back, we think of where we came from, usually.
Okay.
The portal.
More stress for Sayel.
like he may or may not know like where that is. So if he doesn't know where we came from, he knows that we have to deliver
Yeah.
the reports.
Yeah, so it's up to the DM, really, how
So
we
he
get
might,
back. I
yeah,
guess.
he might just take us to like the prison, or
And then I can message Sael. It's fine.
Okay.
what would you like that?
Since they assume priorities and all that, you find yourself in the Grey Towers district of the Ladies' Ward near
Wow.
the prison.
neat.
Wow.
First,
Oh, this
does
is
does
new.
Alara know about the time behaving weirdly? Like in the astral plane and the sigil?
You look up. When you left, it was like the late afternoon. Now it's dark.
Oh.
Anyway, Verity will first use his helmet to communicate to Sayel.
Oh.
Who's
Just
Sayel?
the Sayel. Come in.
Verity, you're back.
Yes. How long have you been waiting? We're in the astral plane.
See. A few hours. Lights went out.
Whew, sigh of relief from Verity's side. Anyway, um, we have returned and we are near the prison right now. I've spoken to the directors conducting the experiments, but if you would like to, we can wait until you're
Wait,
here to
what?
present the case.
Directors?
Yes, documents about the experiments.
Experiment? I thought you were investigating murders.
It leads to experiments related to the book that Victor Sarin gave to us.
I thought that whole thing was stopped a long while ago.
There was a miscommunication and people inside did not receive any word to stop the experiment, and they kept going on.
Well, I can tell you, Verity, that miscommunications are not much of an excuse in the courts of law.
Yes, that's why we have to speak to the factors. We have the necessary documents.
We're going to speak to Factor Malin.
And Factor Sarin.
You want to try yours first?
I think perhaps we need to speak to them
Together.
both.
Together?
This case includes both factions in the governors.
Verity, can we go back to where you're fighting the Kardix? I think I preferred that one.
Oh wait, do we have to check out the governor guy's house?
Yeah. You have to
Yes.
ask Dr.
Just
Well,
remembering this now. Or do we tell?
we could do that, but I will be staying here to send out these documents to the factors. If you want to, you can go with Saga.
This one believes that perhaps it would be prudent for his safety.
For whose safety? Oh, okay.
Sagal. Like,
Yes, we need to get.
what if some random shit happens to him when he's walking around?
Yeah,
city?
yeah, we need to protect
He
the dog.
is a literal hellhound.
Yeah,
He
so
is
I'm-
the key to go back. So
Yeah, so I'm saying like if you want to split, you guys can all go there, and then Verity will stay back to give the reports to the people. Since he's near the prison and the ward is.
Wait,
used
Verity, where are you now? I don't see you around.
Yes, we returned back near the prison, the towers.
I'll be on my way.
feels bad, man. Is that to walk around?
Wait, do the rest of us hear this conversation, or rather one-sided Verity conversation?
Verity's got side only.
Okay. I'm assuming that was Sahel. Yes?
Yes.
Perhaps we could
If
wait.
you want to check. Yes?
Well, perhaps we could wait for him to get here. Perhaps he could vouch for you as well.
Verity, you know it's going to be a few hours before he arrives.
Yes, Verity will tell you guys. I will be waiting for him here, but I think if you want to check out where Governor Nova's house is, you can go with Zagal. Seems that the directors is confident with his checking.
You can
Tracking
talk to
skills.
him anytime,
I
right?
nod.
Who?
That's a good idea.
You can talk to Sahel anytime you want, right? That stupid helmet of yours.
And he gives you a look.
You jealous?
You can't see it. Just look through the.
But you can
Yeah,
feel the
he-
daggers.
He's like just staring at you for a bit. And
You
then,
can talk to him whenever you want. Why are you standing here and waiting for him? Just tell him to meet you halfway. You're wasting our time.
That's
Well,
what
we are
Verity
supposed
is
to-
saying. We can go do
I don't
another
think
job.
We're meeting with him.
No, we're not.
where's the governors? Do we know where the governors live?
We can ask the
The
dog
governor
now.
Nova?
Zagal is just looking around the
Ask
streets, everything.
Sagal.
It's like, oh, this is Oh, this is the prison.
Yeah. Sakal,
Yes.
do you know where the
I wonder if they have leftovers.
leftovers?
Are you hungry?
Maybe.
Speaking of
I'll go into the
leftovers,
harmonium. We can probably with some food for
Spe-
now.
just casually, speaking of the leftovers, where is this the newt?
Who cares?
You don't know Newt is not there.
Yeah, but I haven't seen him in a while.
Well,
Well,
Rose
considering
is-
he's always with Adam, I'm guessing it can't just disappear with that one coming out.
Roses not asked Sagal. Have you been elsewhere other than that astral plane before?
Oh yes, lots of places.
Like where?
Been all over the nine hells. Well, not some of the lowest layers, but I've been around. Kenya, Gehenna, Kasari, Asheron. Well, whenever they need a runner, you see.
Oh, you're
Well,
a hard worker.
usually they send a whole pack of runners, and then the one that survives gets a promotion.
I see. That sounds somber. Well, she's going to give him a good berry. This isn't anything delicious, but you know, if you're hungry, it'll tide you over for a while.
Okay, it licks up the good berry.
Now, tell us where the governor's house is, if you know.
Oh, it's not in Sigil. It's in a small little pocket plane of his.
Ah, any way we can get to it?
I can bring you there.
I look at the rest. Do we want to do this now?
Or
I'm
do
not
you
sure
want
how
to-
long it will take to get there. If you
Oh,
would
it'll
like
be
to,
right on the doorstep in a moment.
yes,
Now,
but
getting past the red tape is a different matter.
Red tape? How do you mean?
Yeah, have you ever met Governor Navarre?
No.
He has checklists for checklists.
Ah. And to make that checklist, what do we have to do?
Forms, probably.
I think we're better off finding the imp first to stop people from going there.
Rosa is also correct.
that
At
is
least
a
we
good
know.
suggestion.
Yeah, at least we know we can get to the governor's house or place
Yes.
quickly.
I think it is best that you track down the imp that is sending Clueless to the plane.
Now, what do you know of what's his name? God, I forgot his name. Zoltan's imp, Zigzag.
Oh, he calls it zigzag because it keeps bumping into things. I
Ah,
think it might have knocked its head a bit. Not very
Could you
smart.
track him down?
If you bring me to where you last saw it, I can try.
All right.
don't
Well,
keep me-
Hayes, Verity, look at Hayes. Hayes, could you lead this part of the investigation?
Hayes will nod.
These documents are of
Who
urgent
among-
matter.
Who
what now?
Sorry, you cut off a bit, Ben.
who should this one bring with? And looks towards the Ark gang.
Look at them.
Hello?
Hello.
Yep.
Yes,
I
Energy.
don't mind going.
Okay.
But out of character, do I know what time it is? Roughly?
It's late at night.
Like how late? Because I was supposed to check in on the other two at like.
It's Sigil, so like they don't really have a clock.
I think you should just message them anyway because you won't be able to meet them anyway, early or late.
Be able to go late, I think. I think they would have found a place. So I'm going to send a message to Tia asking her where they've decided to settle down for the night, and we'll meet them there when we can.
Okay.
Massage.
I'm not sure on the rules of this, but they're sending wake up sleeping people.
Okay. I don't know. What say
I
the
don't
rest?
think it specifies in the spell. Up to you.
Sleeping.
Your call, Mr. DN.
Yeah, it's
How
your
deep
call.
in the sleep are they?
How weak in the knees.
I thought dream is a higher level spell to sleeping people, right?
Yeah, you go
Dream
into
takes a
their
while
dream.
to cast, yeah. It's not the same as sending at all. Dream
Yeah.
is like a full-on Skype call.
Yeah, so I think sending is a less.
Okay, I'll just say that Alara tried,
powerful.
the sending fails, it was because the recipient was asleep.
Okay, so...
Oh,
Oh, what? Done.
that means what's his name was sleeping. We
that-
failed someone, remember?
well,
Barkatu.
not
Barkatu wasn't
necessarily.
No,
like-
Vakatu, case was the thing
Yeah,
got blocked, he didn't even
Yeah.
get through.
So it's
Okay.
like this one is straight up like nombor yang anda dial, and it's like they're there, they just don't want to pick it up because the phone is on silent. Okay, got it.
No, the other one was more like the number you called does not exist.
Exactly. So it's like stop. Okay, got it. Right. Let's make our way to the tavern.
Yeah, I mean, I think Verity's plan is you guys go with haste and he'll give the documents to the
Yeah.
factors and stuff. Or like getting the stuff sorted out.
It will.
Write a report.
It will take quite a bit of time to get back to the Bottle and Jug Tavern.
I think, okay, Verity was saying, perhaps now that it's late, it's best to find a place to rest for tonight.
Alara looks around in the ladies' ward. It looks fancy, does it?
Okay, the ladies' ward itself is okay, again, I have no idea why the prison is in the ladies' ward. Why would you ever put a prison in the ladies' ward? But other than this particular area aside, it looks very spick and span and orderly. Like people move around, the people you do move around, like they obey the lanes, they keep to the lanes and all that. There's guards patrolling around here, quite a few you can see. And there are even signboards.
Oh my god, civilization. I am quite pleased with how it looks here, and then I go to Verity and ask, so how much do you think lodging over here would be?
Lodging? Wait, are you asking Verity?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Let me bring
I know that all the living lodgings here are very expensive, right?
Quite.
Uh-huh.
How about the boarding house? Is the boarding house a bit relatively
Lodging
affordable?
here tend to be like 5 silvers a night and going up.
Ah,
Can
Okay.
you need
So,
bath?
ladies' wards. There's the Golden Barrier Inn.
Oh my god, that sounds so fancy.
yeah, that one is expensive.
Okay.
That is very expensive.
There's the 12 Factols, a restaurant and tavern that resides underground. It's a tiny slice of unexpectedly boisterous and messy life found nowhere else in the ladies' ward. This one's a bit more down to earth.
I like down to earth. Do we
Like-
sleep on the cold hard ground?
I guess the nearest one to the prison would be best considering the time of night. I mean,
I guess the boarding house, perhaps.
like, should be cheaper because it's near the prison.
Boarding house is number 15.
But then,
or
Alice
like,
and Jester is very expensive. There are a few boarding houses around. Okay, just pick one and we'll go with it.
okay, let's go to the
what about
boarding-
Azure Iris?
Azure Iris is
22. It's yeah.
I look around to the rest of the people. Well, we're already here. and it also depends on what the rest of you lot, where you want to stay. But I'm inclined to want to stay here at the moment. It's been a while since I've had a bath.
I recommend the boarding houses around here, either in Aris or Dusty Wig.
Okay, let me check it
Some
quickly.
supplies left at the prison.
The flower name place sounds nice.
Is your iris? Come on. Somewhere in here.
11, if not then.
Sorry, it's a bit hard to find the info on this one. I know I have it somewhere.
Or maybe you just pick one for us, you know, and then we go with it.
I mean, if it's near
Okay.
the prison, chances are it's cheaper. Because it's near a prison.
Okay, I'll let you know the choices like later on.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
for now, I think I'll be closing the session soon anyway. It seems like a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
Because
guess
I
another
can
night
tell
in the
you
prison.
that I can tell you that finding Navarre's home is going to take probably another session if you want to go there.
I think
Oh,
we
yeah.
find the
Yes.
imp first, and then we do Navarra and sort everybody else out. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys are going to stay in the boarding house, and I think Verity and
Hayes is
Hayes is
going
gonna
to the
stay in the
prison.
prison again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do have to
See them
ask
again. Fuck 'em alive.
Elenia and Belisar because they have no
Belisar
money.
ain't staying in no goddamn.
I know,
fucking-
like he has no money.
If you guys are paying, then sure.
I'm not paying for you. I can pay for Fira because she's helpful. Well, okay, do we do this in character?
Well, fuck you too then.
Hey, Mr. McBerry
who's
himself in the
going to
sand.
pay for Balasar to keep him in place?
Wow.
Also, she still doesn't like Alara bullying Balasar too much.
Okay. Like really doesn't like Belisar. Like really, really. Okay, I guess
Anything else before I close off for now?
no.
Ooh.
Well, that was.
We get a long rest to be determined.
Long rest to
Bye.
be determined.
I am. I quite like this session. It's pretty good.
Yeah, we didn't get into any fights, guys. Good job.
He didn't die.
We didn't get punched into a pulp. Yes,
Yes, good
We
job,
were
good
just
job.
gonna attack these guys.
we
Huh?
were not gonna. I mean,
They were clearly not like evil.
There was no way we win.
Exactly.
No
I was
way.
like, fuck, man, no. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad we did not fight. Fighting is last resort.
As much as Belisar likes a good fight, even he understands he ain't winning that shit.
He doesn't wanna die.
I guess we have no more questions.
for
Alright.
now.
Okay.
All right, and good night, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks
we'll see
for
you next week.
watching.
But next week is on Wednesday, right?
Next week is on Wednesday.
Wednesday. We'll see you next week. Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.
Oh god.